Welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's topic. Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder what's exactly beneath your feet? And I don't just mean right below the floorboards, but deep, deep down. Like if you were to just start digging straight down, past the bottom of the oceans, past the inverse height of Mount Everest, where would you actually end up? Today, we're taking a vertical journey through the hidden depths of our planet. We're going to explore the incredible mysteries, the human achievements, and honestly, the terrifying limits of what lies below us. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's this massive paradox. Humanity has managed to send scientific probes millions of kilometers away to Mars, right? We've successfully navigated the freezing, harsh vacuum of space. Yet, when it comes to our very own planet, attempting to dig a 12,740-kilometer hole straight through the Earth, well, it's resulted in repeated failure. So why is that? What exactly is hiding down there that can break even our most massive heavy-duty drill rigs? Well, to understand that, we need to start from the surface and work our way down, layer by layer.
Act 1. The Human Realm. 0 to 1,000 feet down.
So, we begin our descent right where we stand. And it's worth noting that roughly 80% of all animal life on Earth lives right here on the surface. But the second we start descending, even just a few feet, we enter this remarkably crowded, hidden world of history, survival, and infrastructure. Just think about this. Go down just 13 feet, and you're at the exact depth where the 3,000-year-old tomb of the Egyptian king Tutankhamun was found, along with all his treasures. Drop down to 23 feet, and we hit the Kuchi tunnels. That's an incredible underground network built during the Vietnam War for communication and surprise attacks. At 40 feet, we hit a biological milestone. This is the depth of Nile crocodile burrows, which, believe it or not, is the deepest hole dug by any animal. And at 65 feet, we reach the eerie Paris catacombs. Back in the 18th century, a terrible plague caused the city's cemeteries to completely overflow, so the French government ended up burying over 6 million skeletons deep underground. It is incredibly busy just below the surface. Pushing past those historical markers, we hit 346 feet. This incredible number belongs to the deepest metro station in the entire world, located in Kyiv, Ukraine. It's so extraordinarily deep that commuters literally have to take a series of multiple, seemingly endless elevators just to reach the boarding platform from street level.
And hey, if you ever want to sleep deep underground, check this out. 500 feet down. This is the depth of the Sala Silver Mine Underground Hotel in Sweden. It is pretty much the ultimate isolated getaway. I mean, at 500 feet below the surface, there is absolutely no Wi-Fi, no mobile phone signal whatsoever. Guests down here are completely cut off from the modern world. They have to rely on candlelight to see and two-way radios just to communicate with the surface.
Act 2. Extremes and limits. 1,000 to 40,000 feet. All right, we are now leaving the relatively quirky, historical underground behind us and entering the realm of extreme limits, immense engineering feats, and quite frankly, significant danger. The scale of these human excavations is truly terrifying. At 1,000 feet, we reach a chilling military limit. Even a B-82 nuclear warhead, which was designed specifically to destroy underground bunkers, cannot penetrate deeper than this. Down at 2,300 feet, we hit the San Jose mine in Chile. You might remember this as the infamous location where 33 miners were trapped for an agonizing 69 days without a steady supply of food or water after the entrance collapsed. And then, at 3,180 feet, we find the Bingham copper mine. This open-pit excavation is so unimaginably huge that if you took the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, and dropped it inside, it would fit comfortably with room to spare. That's just wild.
Dropping even deeper, all the way down to 12,000 feet, we find something truly miraculous. At a depth where you'd probably think life is absolutely impossible because of the crushing pressure and total lack of resources, we find the devil worm. It's an insect that has somehow managed to adapt and survive at this extreme, isolated, biological limit. Nature always finds a way, right?
But surprisingly, humans are down here too. At 13,123 feet, or roughly 4 kilometers down, we reach the imposing gold mine in South Africa. This is the deepest mine in the world, and it's where the Earth's purest gold is extracted. But man, it comes at a tremendous human cost. Workers down here have to endure blistering, suffocating temperatures that can soar above 66 degrees Celsius. It's a massive daily challenge to human endurance. Now, what's really interesting about this is how that depth translates into an experience we can all kind of visualize. If you were to accidentally fall from the very top of the imposing mine shaft, it wouldn't be a quick drop. You would be falling in terrifying open darkness for 30 full seconds before reaching the bottom. The time it takes for a phone to ring out and become a missed call, that is how staggeringly deep 4 kilometers really is. Act 3, the ultimate human boundary. So we've pushed human bodies and heavy machinery as far down as they can comfortably go. But humans are naturally curious, right? We always want to push further, though as we'll see, we're about to hit a literal impenetrable wall. Let's compare our absolute extremes for a second. In the ocean, the deepest point is the Challenger Deep, measured back in 1951 by a British ship. It sits at a crushing 35,640 feet down. To put that into perspective, if you physically ripped Mount Everest out of the ground and dropped it into the Challenger Deep upside down, its peak still wouldn't touch the ocean surface. There'd be a 2-kilometer gap of water left. That's enough to blow your mind on its own, but amazingly, humans have dug even deeper on land.
The Kola Superdeep Borehole in Russia, a massive mission from 1997 aiming straight for the center of the Earth, reached an astonishing 40,230 feet, or 12.2 kilometers down.
So you're probably wondering, why did the Kola Superdeep Borehole stop at 12.2 kilometers? Why not just keep going to the center? Well, because they hit a wall, a thermal wall. After 9 years of continuous, grueling drilling, they reached a point where the temperature spiked to 200 degrees Celsius. In that kind of blistering heat, the heavy metal drill equipment literally became too hot to function. It was melting and warping. The project had to be permanently abandoned. That 12.2 kilometer mark remains the absolute limit. It's the deepest hole ever created by humanity, and we have never been able to go a single inch further.
Act 4. Journey to the core.
Since our physical drills quite literally melted away, we have to leave humanity and our machines behind. From this point on, our journey is purely scientific as we plunge into the untouchable, fiery geological architecture of the Earth, just to see what actually makes up our planet. You see, the Earth isn't just one giant solid rock, it's highly structured. As we descend, we move through 4 primary layers. We start at step 1, the crust, which is everything we've talked about so far. Then we hit step 2, the mantle. Below that is step 3, the outer core, and finally, step 4, the true center, the inner core. Let's move to the next breakdown and see how this builds, because the proportions are truly mind-blowing.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true scale of what we're dealing with. Just look at that tiny sliver for the crust. It's incredibly thin, maxing out at about 70 kilometers. All of our human history, our deepest minds, and that massive 12.2 kilometer borehole, they barely even scratch this outer shell. It's literally like the thin shell of an egg. Beneath that is the massive mantle, taking up 2,900 kilometers, followed by the vast outer and inner cores. Let's break down exactly what is happening inside these massive inner slices.
So the crucial point to take away here is the extreme heat and pressure that define these zones. The mantle reaches temperatures up to 3,000 degrees Celsius, and while it's technically solid, the immense pressure makes it slowly flow and morph, almost like thick toothpaste. Deeper still is the outer core, a 2,200 kilometer thick ocean of liquid iron and nickel, boiling it up to 5,500 degrees. This flowing liquid metal is absolutely crucial, by the way, because it generates the Earth's magnetic field, which is what protects us from the sun's deadly radiation. Finally, starting at 5,000 kilometers down, we have the inner core. Down here, temperatures match the surface of the sun, up to 6,000 degrees Celsius. But because the gravitational pressure is so intensely crushing, the iron and nickel are squeezed into a completely solid state.
Conclusion: the true scale of Earth. After experiencing the blistering heat of the core, let's zoom all the way back up to the surface for a second. We need to take a moment to truly appreciate the sheer, humbling scale of the planet we call home. The numbers we discussed, thousands of feet, a few kilometers, they sound huge to us, but the total distance to the center of the Earth is roughly 6,371 kilometers. To help visualize this massive radius, think of it like this. If you placed your starting point on the surface in Dubai, you'd have to travel a geographic distance all the way to North Korea just to equal the distance down to the Earth's core. It is a vast, almost unimaginable amount of rock, magma, and metal right beneath our feet.
Which leaves us with this final humbling thought. Armed with the greatest modern technology, pushing our drills until they literally melt, we've managed to scrape a measly 12 kilometers into a 6,371 kilometer journey. We are practically just standing on the doormat. It really makes you wonder, with so much of our planet physically untouchable by human hands, what other spectacular mysteries are still quietly waiting in the deep? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep wondering, keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.